Hello, and welcome to another edition of Seniors Count. I'm Brad Parkhurst, and I'm joined today by Dave Greiner from the Goffstown Network. And Dave, could you tell us a little bit about the Goffstown? First of all, thank you very much for being part of our
Thank you,
show.
Brad, and thank you, Dave, for coming to talk to us. We really appreciate your helping us get out the word of who we are and what we do and how people can get a hold of us. I'd like to start out by explaining exactly what a food pantry is, which is what our organization is. People tend to get confused between a food bank and a food pantry. A food bank is an organization that actually acts as a wholesaler. They give supplies to organizations like ours, but rarely deal directly with clients. There's a food bank for every agency in the United States. In our case, it's the New Hampshire Food Bank. And they handle all of the organizations in the state like ours. They handle 400 some odd different organizations. A food pantry is an organization that gives food directly to clients in the form of unprepared food, as opposed to a soup kitchen, which would prepare a meal for people to sit down and eat.
Right.
So the requirements for us in terms of food safety and handling is quite simplified. As a food pantry, we're not handling any food, it's all unprepared. So we talked earlier about this not being a part of St. Matthew's. We're sitting here in the Easter room of the parish house of St. Matthew's Church. St. Matthew's hosts our organization for free. We have our roots in St. Matthew's, but we are no longer a St. Matthew's ministry. We are actually a community organization. As it started out as just a few shelves, a cupboard, if you will, in St. Matthew's church basement, it grew and grew and grew throughout the 1980s to the point where they started a holiday program, and other communities, other members of the community of Goffstown started to hear about it and wanted to get involved and asked if they could. And at that point it was realized that the organization really needed to be organized in such a way to reflect the whole community and involve the whole community. So they were incorporated under New Hampshire. Let me back up a little bit. They formed an ad hoc committee to investigate how to do this. Incorporated under New Hampshire state law, registered as a 501c3. They applied through a funding arm of the Episcopal Church of the United States that provides grants for endeavors like this to fund for a year a part-time coordinator. She came in from another organization where they were doing this and helped get this organization started. So what you have now is a community-based organization that's not aligned with any church, and we supply non-prepared food to people in the communities of Goffstown, Dunbarton, and New Boston. They are allowed to come to us once every 4 weeks. We're open Wednesday evenings from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to noon. What we supply them with are basics, a certain amount of staples, some frozen meat, milk, bread, eggs, cheese, and then whatever else we can gather in the form of produce and other items.
About how many clients do you have?
Well, at this point right now, we're doing better than we have in a long, long time. We have about 85 families coming to us every month, and that represents somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 people total based on the size of the family.
300 people or?
300, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's down quite a bit from where we were just a few years ago when we were in the Great Recession.
So this is actually a reflection of the economy.
It is. We can tell you pretty closely how the economy is doing based on the clients that we see. In our worst month, we saw twice what we're getting now. 162 families came in to see us at the very worst of the Great Recession. Yeah. So. Let's see here. We, in addition to the regular hours when we're open, we also have holiday programs where we distribute Thanksgiving meal for Thanksgiving, and then for Christmas, a large meal in addition, some other groceries, because we realize that families that have children are going to be away from school for a week, and they're not going to be getting school lunches and things like that. So we try to supplement what they get. In addition, coming at the beginning of winter as it does, we figure the Christmas program is a great jump start for our seniors you know, kind of help them stock up their pantry before the, you know, as winter's approaching.
Right.
Yeah. Right now, with our structure, we have a board of directors, myself as president, Roger Fortier as vice president, Linda Noel as the secretary, and Mark Sullivan as the treasurer. We also have a number of different people who have sort of raised their hand and stepped up to volunteer. They act as shift managers when we're open. We have people that go out and procure the food that we use every week, and people that help out in other endeavors like our holiday drives, food drives, things like that. We also have a data manager, a volunteer coordinator, and a holiday program coordinator. Most of the food that we get here, we get from either the New Hampshire Food Bank. We do one trip a week to down to the food bank. The food that we get there, we pay just 9 cents a pound right now.
Okay.
Typically it's 18 cents a pound, but they received a huge donation from an anonymous donor, and they took that and used that to have the user fee that they have. So we get a lot of staples from them. We get some produce, some bread, and some other things from them. The only government program that we belong to is called the USDA TFAP program, TFAP being the Emergency Food Assistance Program. The USDA is the government arm that handles all nutrition programs like SNAP, WIC, CFSP, and whatnot. TFAP is designed to help organizations like ours by making food available to us at little or no cost. So every 2 months, we get an email from them with a list of items that they have available. We let them know how much we'd like of each, and then we arrange a pickup time, go get it and bring it back. That food comes to us at free, and so that's a wonderful program. We resisted belonging to that program for a long time because there's a lot of information that we have to provide to them.
Red tape.
Red tape, that's the word I'm looking for, that we really didn't want to get involved with. But when we got into the Great Recession and we were just struggling to keep up with the demand, we finally decided we had to do it. And we're happy we did. We've learned how to deal with the red tape, and the food that it's provided us has been great. You know, it allowed us to get through the Great Recession, and now is allowing us to, provide our clients with more. The food that they provide to us is mostly in the form of staples as well. The same stuff that we get from the New Hampshire Food
I've
Bank.
noticed the collection bin down like at Hannaford's that
Yep.
people donate into.
Correct.
Is that part of the network?
It is, absolutely, yeah. We about 3/4 of our food we get through the New Hampshire Food Bank and the TFAP, USDA TFAP program. The rest of the food is donated directly to us from clients. They either drop it in those bins that you see at Hannaford's. We also have several collections throughout the year. Organizations and schools and businesses in town collect for us. The next big one is November 4th. That's the Boy and Girl Scouts Scouting for Food drive, and we get a tremendous amount of food from that drive. In May, the Letter Carriers Union organizes the Stamp Out Hunger food drive. All of the schools in town do a collection for us. Most of them do it for Thanksgiving. The high school does it for Christmas. And then we get smaller drives from the Little League, from different businesses and organizations. And those are very helpful to us because we can only get what the New Hampshire Food Bank or USDA offers us, and when we have these food drives, we very often get a lot of items that we wouldn't normally be able to get. We run through about roughly $30,000 a year in payments to either the New Hampshire Food Bank or to Sully's across the street where we pick up our dairy. All of that money comes to us through donations from the community. Yeah.
Quick question. You do have a excuse me.
Yeah.
You have a website, so when this is posted on GTV, we can run the website across the bottom. I think it's just Goffstown Network.
Goffstownnetwork.org, and it's it's a great place to go to find out information about us, whether you need help or whether you want to volunteer or to make a donation. We also have postings for news upcoming events, things that have happened in the past, or, for example, I'll be posting, excuse me, information about the upcoming holiday programs pretty soon.
Okay, also is on that, is there phone numbers for people if they want to?
There are.
Oh, okay, so
There's phone numbers, there's emails. If you want to contribute via PayPal, you can do that as well. There's a direct link. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we had talked before we went on camera about perhaps going to the high school in December and try to film some of this.
Yeah, one of the, now would be a great time to stop and say this. We are, as an organization, so thankful to this community and the people that live in it, because they provide us with tremendous support. We have no trouble through this community getting the support in terms of money and food that we need to really do a good job taking care of the people that need help in the community. And we're so thankful for that, not only because they do it, but because they do it so well that we typically don't have to go out and do a lot of fundraising or to quote unquote beat the bushes for help. And that allows us to spend more of our time dealing with the clients and taking better care of them. So one of the unique things is many, many things that happen throughout the year that are thanks to this community. And one of them is the high school student council, 2 weeks before we do the culmination, which is typically the Friday before Christmas, spend that time collecting food. They have a competition between the classes, the freshmen, the sophomore, the juniors, and the seniors, to see who can collect the most. And then they have an assembly on that final Friday before they go on vacation. And they present us with what they've collected, both in terms of food and money. At that point, we take that food over to St. Lawrence Church, the basement of St. Lawrence Church. The student council comes over with us, helps us unload it, sort it out, count it, and stage it on the tables. And then that Friday night, members of the community come in and they help us pack that all into boxes that we give out to the clients that Saturday morning, and that's the Christmas program that we hand out. And I just don't know of any other communities where something like this happens, where you have the schools, the youth, the whole community is involved, and they do a wonderful job. And as a result of it, we're able to really take care of our clients over the holidays.
It's much more involved than what I thought it was, and I'm sure all the clients and the people in the town appreciate it. You mentioned that you were looking at another program called a backpack program.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Brad. Yes, this is something that we just started earlier this year. It's something that's kind of been on our radar for a couple of years. The New Hampshire Food Bank, as our parent organization and part of the Feeding America Network, supervises us. They're the ones that are responsible for making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And so part of that is they come in once a year and they do an inspection of our property to make sure that we're doing things right. And they also take that opportunity to have a discussion with us about what they're seeing and what we're seeing and whatnot. And for a couple of years now, they mentioned that these backpack programs have been increasing in frequency, and this was something that we'd also been thinking about, so it sort of spurred us into action. One of the programs that's implemental for helping youth is the free and reduced lunch programs that you see at schools. And those are great programs. They help make sure that the kids are getting fed well during the week, but the problem, of course, is the roughly 68 hours from the time they leave school on Fridays until they get back on Monday mornings. And this can be very difficult for the kids. They can spend the whole weekend literally starving to death and come back to school completely unprepared to learn and to grow. And this can be a real problem because studies have shown that kids that face this situation fall behind. They don't get the education they need later on in life. They don't get a good job, and they fall behind. And so this is something that can affect them negatively for their entire lives and actually become a burden on society. So this program is designed to just pack a bag of food that we can give to this student to put in their backpack and take home at the beginning of the weekend on Friday afternoon, and have something to eat during the course of the weekend. Diane Macon, who is a freshly retired teacher from our community, agreed to take over this program, and she's coordinating it right now. We started the program back in February with just Bartlett Elementary School, and then starting last month expanded it to the entire SAU, so that it includes all the Goffstown schools plus New Boston.
That's great. That's actually something I was not that aware of, but I was never in that situation. I think that's definitely great that you've done that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about?
Well, yeah, so just to follow up on that, of course, we'd like to say that we don't want anybody to go hungry. But of course, the two groups that we want to focus on the most would be seniors and the youth. Youth, as I just mentioned, we don't want them to fall behind.
Right.
Want to give them a fair shake at life, make sure that they learn and grow and develop. And seniors, of course, we want to make sure that they're well fed. We know that a simple illness like a flu or something can fell somebody if they're not healthy. One of the things about being healthy for a senior is being well fed. We want to make sure that they're kept warm and well fed, and they'll live a longer, happier life that way. So those are the two groups that we really focus on, and that's reflected in the quote-unquote red tape that's involved.
I know
the organizations, the organizations that we deal with that provide us with food want to know how many seniors and how many youth we're helping out. So the last thing that I would like to talk about, we currently have a Pantry vehicle. It's a minivan that a volunteer, Roger 40, donated to us 5 years ago to use as a pantry vehicle. Before that, the volunteers who went out and picked up the food were using their own vehicles, and that's pretty tough on the vehicles. And it also meant that we had some volunteers we couldn't use because they didn't have an appropriate vehicle, either a van or a truck or something like that. So this was great for us to get this vehicle, to be able to use that, and we weren't abusing our volunteers' vehicles. But this vehicle, after 5 years, has had its useful life's end, and so we're looking for a new vehicle. So we're currently out beating the bushes, asking dealerships for help. We're going to be reaching out to community organizations to see if they can help us at all with this endeavor. We're not sure exactly how much it's going to cost. It depends on basically what's available out there, but we're looking for a new van to take over the job of the pantry vehicle.
Well, if any of you out there know of the availability of a van or anything, please go to the website and contact the Goffstown Network.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Dave, thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.